Wonderful. Here we are at LTR number 7, edition number 7. As you know, LTR stands for Love, Technology and Relationships, and this is where the dating industry and the online social community industry executives gather. This is where we can learn and share and hear from the best. Mr. Anthony Volpe, I've known for quite several years now. He is currently the head of partnerships and CMO at Tawkify, and he previously worked with SD Ventures, I should note, and has worked with eBay and IBM and all sorts of incredible companies, and we're very lucky to have him in the industry and presenting today. You know, Tawkify, you would think, might have been through the ringers in this time, but I can tell you that Tawkify is doing rather well, very well actually, and growing quite quickly. And here to tell us the story of how Tawkify has grown against all odds and how actually to partner with this national matchmaker is Anthony Volpe. Anthony, take it away. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate it, and nice to see everybody. Thank you so much. All right. So again, thank you, Mark, for introducing me. Again, I'm the head of marketing and partnerships here at Tawkify. I'm not sure if everybody has heard of Tawkify, but hopefully in this presentation, what I'm going to hopefully answer for you today is what Tawkify is and what we can offer clients and members. Some of the challenges that we've had over the last year and our success story through COVID, where we're headed next, and then about partnerships and how you might be able to work with us should there be a good match and an interest on your side. So just as an overview, we've been around for about 9 years. We were founded in January 2012 by Kenneth Shaw, and it's based in San Francisco, although we haven't been in our office for the last year. It's been closed due to COVID. But basically, Kenneth's goal was to be the matchmaker for the millions, not the millionaires. And really the problem that we're trying to solve is, as we all know, dating is daunting, time-consuming, lonely, and we really believe that everybody deserves a meaningful relationship. And again, this is very different from a lot of dating apps, right? The key here is around the idea of meaningful relationship. And we basically leverage technology and the personal touch of our dating experts that we have on our staff. So the difference, of course, with a lot of online dating apps is that with a matchmaking service, we basically save time, effort, stress, and frustration. We act as people's personal concierge. And if you think about it, the kind of people who come to us are people who are not DIY, who are do-it-yourself people in terms of the do-it-yourself in terms of swiping right, swiping left, trying to communicate. These are DIFM people, do it for me, right? So we have assigned to them their own matchmaker that acts as their own dating concierge that helps them through the journey. And we believe that we can actually help people meet higher quality matches, matched right for them, because our technology looks through our database of over 1 million people. Actually, it says almost, but it's actually over 1 million people. And we also help them feel confident and safe because the privacy and profiles are completely confidential. We don't share pictures or confidential information. We rely on people to go out on the dates, and that's where they find out that information. So we exchange contact information only if both partners want that and they don't share it on the date. So we offer 2 service options. We have a client package and a membership package. Our client package really is around the idea of the full matchmaking experience. So anybody signing up with us will get their own personal matchmaker, guaranteed handpicked matches from our full directory of other clients as well as members, and I'll talk about who members are in a moment. And we always personally screen every match before we set them up on a date. And then we also do full date planning. So if a client comes to us, again, we do all the communication, we do all the finding, we actually also do all the date planning, so they don't have to really do anything except show up on the date. And we have packages starting at under $3,000. Typically how we sell it is that a prospect will come into our site, they'll consult with one of our member services folks for up to 30-40 minutes, and they can sign up for a package. And then we're also experimenting a bit with a direct purchase option online. In contrast to that, we also offer packages for members. Members join our database. They're not actively matched. They're actually, if you want to call it, matchable people, matchable members. We have them in our database to be potentially matched with one of our clients. And we don't guarantee the matches, but the members might be contacted with any client in mind and set up on that fully planned date that I told you we do for our clients. And right now it's $99 for a full year of membership. And it's sold very similarly to how we do the client package, except that if somebody decides that maybe they're not ready to become a client, or maybe they're a little bit more price sensitive or just don't want to spend that kind of money, after they decide that they don't want to be a client, we offer them the possibility of becoming a member. So we often get asked the question, how did COVID-19 affect us? Because obviously we're all in the dating industry, and we were affected just like most everybody else in this industry. So we were impacted both in terms of the customer experience as well as our top line revenue. Right when the virus hit, our revenue did go down, and the customers' expectations were that we would not set them up as much on in-person dates because of the obvious risk. So the video dates exploded. And as far as the top line revenue, to adapt, really what we did was we tried to focus more on the higher income leads, because we do ask during the marketing lead qualification funnel process, we ask them to fill out a questionnaire, and that includes people's income levels. So we focused on some of the higher income leads, as we saw that the lower income customers were affected and didn't purchase at the same kind of close rate. So we introduced a lower tier product, and we also introduced a higher tier product, which was a VIP product. And the reason that we did that is we saw that the higher income folks were less affected during the recession. And so actually we saw both of those areas really take off. And the idea was that because of our value proposition, facilitating meaningful relationships, we were really well positioned to respond to what we thought were single people's increased needs for intimacy during COVID. What we saw in terms of the changes in dating behavior, we saw a big increase in digital vetting. So of course you can imagine that there were many more frequent texts, calls, video dates, and so on. Also, we saw that people preferred to have a few dates in the park, or the proverbial park, so 2 or 3 dates. And then there was a lot more visiting each other's place versus going out to a restaurant or a movie place or so on, which, as we know, most of those venues were closed. Really interestingly, we saw that there was a large increase, over 50%, in yes, yes dates. Yes, yes dates means where each side, each person, or both people, if you will, both said yes, they were interested in seeing the other person again. And that skyrocketed by more than 50%. I think it was around 53, 54%. We think that's because people were just that much more desperate or interested or needing intimacy. And I think they were a little bit more accepting and tolerant and lenient of the kinds of people that they would consider. Which leads to the next point, which was there were these consumer preferences shifts. And I think as we saw, just generally speaking, across not only the dating world, but across a lot of people's experiences, whether it be professional or personal and so on, towards kind of what you might call the well-being or the quality of life and quality of time, right? People had the notion then that, well, they really couldn't go and spend a lot of time with people, so they were going to focus on the real high quality of life, people with whom they could communicate and be intimate with, and so on. We also saw this really reflected in the words that people described what they liked in their counterpart is important. So, for example, things like gentleman, dress, polite, kind of the more the superficial things decreased in frequency. And also, interestingly, we saw that preferences in terms of our clients asking for specific height diminished also with the increase in video dates, because of course you can't see height in video dates, and when you're not seeing people in person as much, height matters a lot less. So you can see here on this table here some of the changes that happened after COVID and before COVID. You can see on the left table, if you will, all of these different words here to describe what people were looking for decreased after COVID started. So polite, gentleman, kind, dressed, and so on. But on the right-hand side, these are all the things that increased quite a bit, right? In terms of funny, family, talk. So things that were more indicative of higher quality, that would indicate a higher quality kind of conversation or connection or intimacy. So where did this leave us in 2020 going into 2021? So we're not sure if we're the largest, but we believe that we're one of the largest US matchmaking firms. Last year, we had $22 million of top line sales. We're on track this year so far with our trajectory to probably be in the high 20s, maybe 30 million. The annualized marketing budget is around $9 million, or it was around $9 million last year. That was all via Facebook and Google networks, typically across pay-per-click, online display, online video, and so on. And then we ended the year with around 100 people in terms of our team. That was non-matchmakers, so that does not include our matchmakers. And then in our database of people, again, we have just over 1 million potential matches. And our sales grew last year by 75% compared to 2019. So we were really fortunate to come out of COVID much stronger, actually, than we went into COVID. And then we increased our matchmakers by over 60%. So now we have around 160 matchmakers. One of the things that we're very proud of is that we have quite high customer satisfaction, especially high when you compare this within the online dating space. This is looking at Trustpilot, and I've purposely obscured the names of major sites 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you can see that out of 5 stars, there's a lot of the online dating sites are in the 1 to 2 star range, or not even 2-star range, where we're at 4.6, and that's from over 1,850 total reviews. So we're very proud of the fact that we've got very high customer satisfaction. And we've got quite an extensive list of press that we've had from very reputable publications, well-known publications. To give you an idea who we have in our clientele and our membership database, essentially it's pretty well distributed from the 20s on, but you can see that the majority, over 90%, are over 30 years old, and we have quite a bit, certainly over 70%, who are over 40 years old. But you can see that there's quite a range there. And typically what you'll find in, I think, overall matchmaking services, but certainly with ours, is that around 85% or so make over $100,000. And I think that that's probably understandable, given the fact that in order to have a matchmaking service, in order to have, if you will, a dating concierge where you're paying several $1,000s usually, you're going to have some kind of decent income to support that. We have almost all ethnicities represented, somewhat typical of the US population, although in some areas it's a little bit less or a little bit more. And then we're really all around the country, as you can imagine, with such large numbers in our clientele and database, but we are concentrated in the large metros nationwide. And we're trying to concentrate even more in those and become a little bit less distributed in terms of rural areas and so on. So we're really trying to concentrate more in the top 50, 55 metros nationwide. Very similar, I think, to a lot of the composition in terms of gender composition that I've seen across other matchmakers and talking with them is that we have almost 70% female gender composition and around 30% males. So you can see that we're very heavily skewed towards females, and I think that this may come as a somewhat of a surprise to the folks from the online dating world, because in the online dating world, what I've understood and experienced is that the males typically are 70% and the females are 30%. So in terms of partnerships and working with us, one of the things that people can think about is that you would potentially have access to our customers in our database. We have over 1 million, as I mentioned, discriminating singles in these mostly urban metro areas. And you would have potential access to our matchmakers. I mentioned in terms of having around 160 or so experienced matchmakers. Also, there's the idea that there would be some cooperation or collaboration with our what we think are basically our world-class marketing program, the Solve. Again, I mentioned we spend around $9 million, or we did spend $9 million last year, and it's around $800,000 a month on Facebook, Google, YouTube, and so on. And we also have a social media presence as well as a really great lifecycle marketing program. So we're actually looking at reaching out and talking to a variety of partnerships. So we're open to a variety of paths of partnership. The idea here, our goal is to try to increase our ability to match our female members. As I mentioned, we have 70% women and 30% males, so we could always use more matchable males, and that's what we're looking at. And we'd be open to doing some kind of exchanges of in-kind value. Could be around kind of a new product or market opportunity, including white label. We could do perhaps some kind of technology exchange or co-marketing or co-promotion, any kind of dating and matchmaking related services. Also, we're open to a CPA payment model in terms of paying for access to clients or members. Or again, I think that this could be something that might be especially interesting to not only a matchmaker who has a lot of male clients or members that they could make some money off of, or perhaps an online dating site who has, again, a large number of males and looking for females, where we have the opposite problem. So maybe we could do some kind of trading or some kind of sharing. But of course, if there's anything else that anybody had in mind for a partnership together, we're definitely open to listening. If you're interested, please definitely contact us. You can contact me directly, Anthony at Tawkify.com.